Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Cooking with Tovia. Today I'm doing a holiday Christmas collaboration with simply Sara. Please stop by her channel because you definitely need to go by there to find out what she's making, because I'm not going to reveal that to you guys, but I'm sure it's going to be absolutely delicious. Today I'm going to show you guys how to make a pound cake from scratch. I'm going to show you guys how to make a pound cake using all-purpose flour. I'm going to go over some of the basic fundamentals to help you become better bakers at home, or to help you guys become a baker. So if you follow this video and listen to all of the included directions and hints and tips that I've included, you're going to come out with a very successful pound cake. I know this video is long, but I answer a lot of questions throughout the entire video, so please support me by subscribing to my channel and hitting the notification bell, as well as sharing this video. And remember that you can find the full recipe to this recipe in the description box under this video. So I'm going to show you guys how to make a pound cake from scratch using all-purpose flour. I've gotten loads of questions about pound cake, so I'm going to be very detailed with this tutorial, and I ask that you listen to it because I'm going to answer some questions throughout this whole video. This is perfect if you just think you totally suck at baking. So I have here all-purpose flour. I'm using bleached all-purpose flour, and I'm sifting the flour. We're going to sift it 3 times. So the reason why I'm using bleached all-purpose flour is because the flour was chemically changed, and the flour will be a little bit more delicate than typical unbleached all-purpose flour. Okay. I'm going to sift the flour 3 times. The reason why I'm sifting the flour 3 times is because the flour usually settles over time. So when you go to measure your flour, you may actually have more flour than what you actually think you have. So this really lightens the flour so that when we go to measure it, you won't have too much flour. So this is the first step. Okay, you must sift the flour 3 times. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just measure my flour. I'm going to actually spoon it in. So we're going to need 2 cups of all-purpose flour. So I'm going to I'm not going to pack the flour down. I'm just going to spoon it in. So doing this will make sure your cake doesn't taste doughy, because I got questions. Why does my pound cake taste doughy? Well, this is part of it, because the flour really needs to be sifted, and this prevents you from having too much flour in your batter. Use a high quality flour. I usually use King Arthur, but today I'm just using Pillsbury because I usually don't buy bleached all-purpose flour. So if I need more flour, I'm just going to add more. I'm going to sift it 3 times. Okay, so I sifted a little bit more flour here. I sifted it 3 times. And I'm just going to spoon it into my measuring cup here. Now, because this recipe was sent to me in cups, we're going to just work with cups. Please don't ask for the measurements and imperial measurements by way, because I don't have it. So we just have this in using regular measuring cups. So that's 2 cups of flour here. Okay, then we're going to need some baking powder, and I'm going to sift that baking powder in here as well. So it's 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. We're sifting it in because we don't want to have lumps of baking powder, and it's a horrible thing to bite into. Okay, I'm sorry if I'm being long-winded, but I'm trying to be as detailed as possible. So just sift that baking powder. As you see here, there's lumps of baking powder, so that's the importance of sifting. So we're going to move over to the mixer. So we're going to begin in this stand mixer, and I get asked this question often: what mixer am I using? I'm using the Geek Chef stand mixer. I absolutely love this machine. It is wonderful to have in your kitchen. So I'm going to begin with 2 sticks of unsalted butter. That's 1 cup. All right, that'll be 8 ounces. And I'm using a high quality butter. So So I'm gonna just tilt the head down for a minute just to kind of cream the butter apart. So I'm gonna cream butter and sugar together. I'm using granulated sugar, as you see here. I'm gonna cream the two together for 8 minutes. I'm gonna begin on just low speed so the sugar doesn't splash out all over the place. And then I'm going to gradually increase the speed. We're going to give it a scrape halfway down, so I'm going to go ahead and let this go for 4 minutes. Okay, so it's been 4 minutes. I'm going to give it a scrape down. And I'm going to let this go for about another 4 minutes or so. We want this to be thoroughly creamed together. So scrape, make sure there's no raw bits of sugar at the bottom of your mixing bowl. And it looks good so far. And notice the color, it gets a little paler in color. It's because we're incorporating air. So another 4 minutes. Okay, so everything is creamed together for a total of 8 minutes. So I'm going to add my eggs one at a time. I'm going to beat it well after each addition. About 30 seconds. It's important to make sure you add the eggs one at a time, because if you don't, it will affect your final outcome of your pound cake. So be very patient. So I'm going to stop the machine before I add the final 2 eggs, and I'm going to give it a scrape because we want to make sure everything is being thoroughly combined here. So we're going to add the final 2 eggs, and remember to beat well after each addition. My eggs are also at room temperature. I have my butter out for about an hour, and it's pretty chilly here. But you want to have your butter soft, but not soft to the point where it's melted or becoming runny. Final egg. So I'm just whipping this for about 30 seconds longer on high speed. I'm going to stop the machine and give it a scrape. Remember, always scrape. You have to remember to scrape your bowl very well. I'm going to give it one more wick. Just to make sure everything's well incorporated. So what I'm going to do now is add the dry and the wet ingredients. I'm going to add it alternatively. So I'm going to begin by adding half of my flour and baking powder here. And I didn't add any salt because we're using salted butter. So we're just going to mix until the flour begins to dissolve. As you see here. Okay, we're going to stop. So I'm going to add all of my buttermilk. It's at room temperature. And then going to add my vanilla extract. Now you may ask, what if I don't want to use salted butter? How much salt will I add? You will add a half a teaspoon of salt if you're going to be using unsalted butter. So after adding the buttermilk and the vanilla, we're going to just give this a mix until we see everything begin to sort of moisten up a bit. We don't overmix because this is all-purpose flour. And then we're going to add the final flour. The remaining flour, shall I say. We're starting with the dry, ending with the dry because this keeps your cake batter from being too heavy, and also so your cake dough batter won't come out doughy, I guess, or your final baked cake won't seem doughy. So I'm just going to mix until I see everything beginning to moisten. That's it. It's okay, there's still some bits of flour in there because we're just going to give it a fold, but don't worry about if it's still lumps of flour because we don't want to overwork this. So I'm going to go ahead and give the bowl a scrape. I'm going to remove it from my stand mixer. Then I'm going to give everything a scrape and just fold everything. And see, there's still a little bit of flour showing, but that's okay. I'm going to fold it about 10 times or so, because I don't want to overwork all of this. So I'm just folding everything. I'm going to scrape. So I have this is like an 8x12 loaf pan. I'm going to spray it down with baking spray that has flour in it. And I'm going to show you guys a really neat trick. If you don't have parchment paper on hand, and if you're a coffee drinker, we're going to make our own parchment paper using coffee filter. So I'm using like the funnel or cone shaped one, so I'm going to just cut this pleated edge here off. So I'm just going to lay that in the bottom of my pan here. And then I'm going to take a third filter. Let's take our other half of the filter here and cut it in half. If you can keep your hands from being so shaky. And I'm going to press that into the corner. Any exposed corner, just press that down. Press it flat. If you have any, I'll cut this in half. You might think this is insane, but look at the final outcome. You're going to be amazed. So, just spraying. If it's too stiff, just spray with baking spray to make it stick. And then I'm going to cover this side of the pan here too with that coffee filter. Spray to moisten it. I'm going to just press it into the pan. Press it down here to kind of make it adhere to the edges. Pressing it really hard on the bottom to make sure everything is not coming undone here. So I'm going to pour my cake batter into the middle of this. Okay, being careful not to hit the sides. Just pour it directly in the center of your pan. We're not going to tap this to smooth it out because you don't want to knock out all that air that we created. Just give a really good scrape. Please add this video to your playlist and share it. And if you aren't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe because I generally upload videos 3 times a week. So I have a little small offset spatula here that I'm just going to use to scrape my rubber spatula down. And I'm just going to begin to spread this across the pan. So that way we know everything is even and we didn't tap it to knock out any air. My oven is preheated at 325 degrees Fahrenheit, and this will bake for about an hour to an hour and a half. I'm going to let this go for exactly 50 minutes without opening my oven. So got it all smoothed out. So I'm going to let you know the exact time it took to bake this, but I'm not going to open my oven for about 50 to 55 minutes because I want the outside to develop a good crust, so that way we won't have a cake that's going to collapse or sink. Okay, so it's been exactly 55 minutes, and I have my cake tester here. I had this for years and years from my good friend. I'm going to just put that in the middle of the cake and pull it out, and it came out clean. So it baked, like I said, exactly 55 minutes. I am going to let this cool. I'm going to place this whole pan on top of a wire rack and let this cool completely. So let it cool completely on the rack inside the pan. It'll take about 2 to 3 hours. I'm going to dust the top with powdered sugar. Just sort of pour it over. So now I'm going to slice into the pound cake. I'm going to give you guys a better view here. So I'm going to go ahead and slice it. Slice this in here. And look at that beautiful crumb. Absolutely beautiful. Oh my God. So see, it makes a difference when you sift the flour 3 times and use high quality flour. Make sure all of your ingredients are at room temperature. That's the key to making this beautiful pound cake. So here's the pound cake. I'm going to try it. I'm going to close up. You see how beautiful the crumb is. The exterior is perfect. So like I said, 55 minutes. High quality ingredients. Let the cake cool completely before you cut into it. So it's very moist. You see it's not dry, it's actually just so soft. It's buttery. It's moist. Absolutely delicious. So there you have it, how to make a perfect pound cake. Please give me a thumbs up, share this video if you enjoyed it. I hope this detailed video was very helpful for you all. Please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell. Please leave a comment down below and share this video. Thank you so much for watching, and please remember to live and be well. Let's come together as one. Thanks for watching.